guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video is all about relative clauses. Okay, so if you go back onto our channel, you can actually find that we've done another video very similar to this, which is all about relative pronouns. So if you find this video helpful, you might also find that video quite helpful too. So if you just have a scroll down below, you should find it. It's called Revising Relative Pronouns. Right, where do we begin? So here I've got three really simple sentences. Miss Quinn was eating cake, Miss Stringfellow was walking her dog round the park, and Nottingham hosts an annual Christmas festival. While they're good sentences, they're not particularly amazing and we could make them a lot better. The way that we're going to do that then is we're going to add some more information. So I've stuck with my first sentence, Miss Quinn was eating cake, and then I've added a bit more information on the end, she is a teacher. So there's two bits of information about me there. So although now we're getting into more detail, it's still not particularly very great. It's two very simple sentences. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to embed. I'm going to take the second bit of information that we've given and I'm going to put it inside my first sentence to make one longer, complex sentence. So here I've popped it in the middle. So my new sentence now says, Miss Quinn, she is a teacher, was eating cake. Now, although I have managed to get that into one sentence, because I've not done any tweaking or any changing, I've literally just taken the last sentence and put it in the right place in the sentence, it doesn't flow, it doesn't make sense. So what I now need to do is I need to replace the pronoun she that I don't need in the sentence with a relative pronoun. So I'm changing the pronoun that I'm using. The pronoun that I've replaced it with is who. If you're doing a sentence about a person, it's usually who or whom, or if there's more than one, it might be whose. So here the sentence now says, Miss Quinn, who is a teacher, was eating cake. Makes much more sense than when we had the pronoun she still there. So this is what makes it a relative clause. It's using the correct relative pronoun. Here's our sentence again. Now we know that the part in blue is the relative clause, the additional information to my sentence, because it begins with the relative pronoun. The rest of the sentence, Miss Quinn was eating cake, is the main clause. That's the part of the sentence that cannot be removed because the rest of it wouldn't make sense. However, if I removed my relative clause, the main clause would still make sense on its own. Miss Quinn was eating cake. Here you can see a list of different relative pronouns that you could use in your relative clauses. It just depends on what the sentence is about. So if you're talking about a person, you could use who, whom or whose, because that tells you that you are talking about a person or something that belongs to that person. Which refers to an animal or an object. That refers to animal, people and things, so again usually a group of things. Where is places and when is obviously time. So this sentence here is about place. London, which is the capital of England, hosted the 2012 Olympics. So obviously the place that we're talking about in this sentence is London, and the relative pronoun, so the beginning bit of the relative clause to add additional information, is which. So if I removed the relative clause, which I should be able to do in a sentence, the sentence would say, London hosted the 2012 Olympics. That still makes sense on its own, but obviously the sentence is much better having the relative clause inside it. So the new sentence is, London, which is the capital of England, hosted the 2012 Olympics. The same thing goes for when your sentence is about a person. So Miss Stringfellow, who loves going for walks, has a dog called Kobe. So the main clause in that sentence is Miss Stringfellow has a dog called Kobe. It's the bit that makes sense on its own. Who loves going for walks is the part of the sentence which is the relative clause because it begins with the relative pronoun who because we're talking about a person. Here you can have a go at writing some of your own. So you might want to choose a character or a place in a book that you have read about recently, or it might be a place that you visited, and we would like you to have a go at writing your own relative clause about it. But remember that you have to use the correct relative pronoun from below. So remember, if you're talking about a person, it's who, whom or whose. If you're writing about a place, it's where. If you're writing about when something happened, it is when, so obviously the time that something happened. And the last thing we're going to go through then wouldn't be a year 6 video if we didn't go through a SATs question. So tick one box to show which part of the sentence is a relative clause. So remember, the relative clause has got to begin with a relative pronoun. So the table, which is made of oak, is now black with age. Which word in there is the relative pronoun? It is which, because you're talking about an object. So that means that the second part that is underlined is the part of the sentence which is the relative clause, which is made of oak.